Hi guys, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Yvonne Princess Shabango. If you are new here, you're welcome to like, subscribe, share, and comment. And voila, you're part of the graceful, the beautiful, and the wonderful family. We are back with another Employment Wednesday video. What's good? I hope you guys are securing those jobs. Tell me in the comment section, are we securing the jobs? Are we attending the interviews? Are we still praying for one another? Are we encouraging one another? Are we revamping our CVs? Are we speaking the words of power? Because it's very, very important that you speak to your CV, guys. People can call it weird. I'm weird like that. I speak to everything. If I'm gonna apply for a job or if I have an intention of taking a career 10 months prior, I speak to God about it. Once I've revamped my CV, I say, God, this is what's up. When someone reads this, can it make sense, or can I be given a bed or a chance on this, So yeah, I hope you guys are doing that for yourselves. We are back with another video and it's a Wednesday. Happy Employment Wednesday. I am praying for you and all of that, right? So today we are going to be talking about practice versus university, guys. Is it necessary? And be honest, where my students at? Is it honestly speaking, actually not students, you think, you would have a different opinion, but where my graduates at, is it necessary for us to go through the stress of university for us to be in practice? So I'm going to touch on my experience in practice and my experience as a university student. And then, yeah, you guys can tell me how you felt about it yourselves, your experience as well in the comment section. Tell me what you think. Do you think it's necessary for us to go to uni? Because I've come to an understanding, and I could be wrong, I've come to an understanding that I think university is just a principle thing. It teaches us to be principled human beings. It teaches us to be able to meet deadlines. It teaches us time management. It teaches us punctuality. It helps us connect with other individuals. It helps us, connect with the rest of the world. But really speaking, I feel like in the 4 years I've been in university, but thank goodness I went to a university that prides itself in hiring people that came from practice. So, you guys would know, if you're from that prestigious university, you would know that in as much as we can be dragged and all of these things, but you would know that we are at a greater advantage because we're taught by lecturers that know what practice looks like. We're taught by lecturers that wrote textbooks. We're taught by lecturers that have worked in the field that they are teaching. So it becomes very easy for us to, it became very easy for us to grasp information. And sometimes they didn't even rely on textbooks or theory. They just based a lot of their teachings on practicality, But I'm just talking about it from a scenario where there were other modules where it was just theory. You didn't even see the practical side of it, I feel university taught me how to be a principled human being. Did it prepare me for practice? No. I hate to be the one breaking this to you, but it didn't. Because I got to practice thinking, we've got base. Simple things yes, we did I think insolvency law. I loved that also my insolvency lecturer is one of the best in the game. She co-wrote the textbook of insolvency law, and she was in practice as well. So she has the practical side of it. But there were some things that were taught theoretically. Then when you get to practice, you think you know. And then your principal actually says, no, it doesn't work like that. You don't know. And I feel had somebody taught me that, go to university, get your good grades, get your character traits and all of that, and be prepared that you're going to walk into practice as a person who's in grade 0, as a person who doesn't know anything, and you start from all over. Because I feel 4 years, yes, it was great. It was amazing. I met really amazing people. I chose really beautiful modules when we had to choose them. I had a time of my life in uni, right? After all, I went to the best university in the country and one of the best in Africa. Hey, and I'm not here to argue about that. I can't argue about the status of my university, okay? So you can imagine I had a beautiful time. But when I got to practice, guys, I was clueless. I was just what's happening? If there's one module where I felt this was really necessary or really needed. It would have been law clinic and civil procedure. Yes, because when I got into practice, my first rotation was in litigation. So I had an idea of what a notice of intention to defend is. I had an idea of what an affidavit looks like. But also, in as much as I had an idea, it wasn't exactly the same. You know, it wasn't, I think, yeah, it wasn't exactly the same, because you know how sometimes in uni, most of exam questions are scenario based. And then now you have a real life problem whereby somebody is trusting you with their business. Somebody is trusting you to make a decision or a choice on their behalf or advise them, you know, then it becomes different and tricky because now it's a real life situation. So I really think law clinic, civil procedure was helpful. And I think business management was also helpful. Legal skills, the best. Like, I think that actually set the tone of the type of drafter you're going to become. But honestly speaking, I think what I would propose, I don't know if the people that govern the law societies and all of this are ever going to watch this YouTube video. Hopefully they do. But I'll propose that instead of us learning a bunch of modules in law school or while we do our LLB, I think maybe give us modules that prepare us for board exams, because also that's another chat. I don't know if we're ready to have it, but yeah, it's really hard, because I don't think PLT is enough to prepare us for board exams. Even practice in its essence is not enough to prepare us for board exams, because also with board exams, it's a chance thing, right? You can be prepared and still fail. That's the thing. I hate to be the one breaking it up to you. You can study so hard and still fail. You know, but I think maybe if those type of modules were introduced to us in the 4 years, maybe at least, because we have like what, 4 papers. Yeah, it wouldn't hurt to have those 4 modules, so that, you know, when you write your board exams, you are not fighting for your life. You're not fighting to get articles, fighting to write board exams, fighting for admission, just fighting to be returned. Like, you're not having too many fights. You know, I think it would really be nice if they incorporated modules that could actually help us, like modules into the law curriculum. Yes, people that draft their curriculum, I think if they could be joined with the people at the LPC, people that actually examine us and create modules that sort of prepare us, or that give us like a base foundation of what to expect in the board exams. Because guys, honestly speaking, those board exams I failed. You will, like, it's really saddening, you know. Sometimes it's not even about getting A's and all of that. It's really saddening that a person would have sleepless night, you would study so hard, and then you come back, you get it at 29 or 30%, and not because you don't know, you know your stuff, but when you got there, what was asked is stuff that you overlooked or stuff that you are not prepared for. So I think it would really be nice if law school and the LPC, people that do the law curriculum and the LPC come together and work on some modules for future lawyers. Because I mean, some people, I know people that will tell you that they've rewritten boards over 7 times, like a specific paper. They'll tell you, I rewrote paper 3, 4 times. I rewrote paper 1, 3 times. I rewrote paper 4, 8 times. And you're like, what? And remember guys, 8 times means you've been doing this for at least 3 years, because each year you have 2 chances to actually write the paper. So it means if you've done it like for over 6 times or over 4 times, it means it's been over 3 years, and which means you're outside your time of articles. And usually law firms, if you're not passing your board exams, they just like, bye Felicia. And yeah, some people are lucky enough to get returned even after not passing their board exams, but usually law firms are just like, nope, you're not meeting the requirements, we're not working with you. So you can imagine the stresses that people go through, you know. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents on the theoretic part of it. But I genuinely wish we could skip to the part where we go to practice. Practice is fun, but yeah, there's so much pressure there. you have to sacrifice something. You're gonna have to say, because we lawyers sell time. I don't know what practice looks like for other profession, but my general understanding of practice in a nutshell is you sacrifice a lot of your time, especially in the corporate space. We call it billable hours. You have to bill a lot, your time at the office, your time doing billable work is much valued than anything. And then I know other people in the corporate spaces where they, even if they're not billing for it as like for every minute, but they spend so much time at work, they spend so much time working. So yeah, you are going to work till late, even if it's not till late, like you're gonna pick a struggle. I've realized something. I'm happy to wake up at 3 a.m. gang, where you at. I'm happy to wake up at 3 a.m, do the work, but I'm that hand who's out of the office by 6. Like, I'm just like, you know what, guys, deuces. But really, if you want me to meet, I don't mind waking up at 3 a.m. I don't mind being at the office at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. I don't mind doing that. So you really also need to find what works for you, and also the type of company where your structure would work. I was having a general conversation with one of my colleagues, right? So I was asking him if he's finally happy with where he is. And then he said to me, yes. I'm like, are you satisfied? Then he said, to say I'm satisfied, no, but I have an understanding that the company that I work for and the type of lifestyle I'm living right now makes sense, because it allows me to be flexible. It allows me to be flexible. It allows me to be able to do other things because I'm able to work from home. I'm able to do ABCD. So even if another company wanted me to work for them, I'll always be concerned, can I get my flexibility? So you need to figure out what's your working style and at what company is it going to work out. Because half the time we're like, I just want the job. I just want to work. I work well under pressure. But are you prepared to leave the office at 2 a.m? or are you prepared to enter the office at 2 a.m? I'm those people. I'm happy to enter the office at 4 a.m, 5 a.m, because I'm such a morning hand. If you want me there at 4 a.m, trust me to be there. But if you want me to leave at 2 a.m, chances are after 10, my brain is fried. All I'm thinking of is getting home, right? So need to find out your working style and at what company it's going to work. And one thing I also enjoy about practice, guys, the independence of it. No one is, even in uni, no one is micromanaging you. But the thing also about uni, it's memorandum based. So if Professor so-and-so says your answer is incorrect, that's that. But in law, in practice, it's like, you know that your answer could not be memorandum based, but if you can justify it, if you can sit there with your principal and be like, yo, I don't think we should oppose this matter because ABCD, but I think we should put it on the agent role because ABCD, and you can prove why and how, you go for it, So I like that practice teaches you to be independent. I love that it teaches you to think. It teaches you to be innovative. It teaches you to be, like, generally speaking, I just wish we didn't have to go to school. We could just skip to the good part, which is practice, And I think the worst things about practice is that, like, you will love your job, but sometimes you won't be appreciated. You will love your job. Sometimes you won't be paid enough. You will love your job, but you will have to sacrifice your time with your family, your friends, and you will love your job, but you may be working with a boss that wants things done a certain way, or maybe they don't trust you enough yet, and all of these things. And it may be a hindrance in a way, because you will feel down and out. But generally practice is such a beautiful place to be in. I always say this, like, at some point I want to go into academia later in my life, in case my employers think I'm not serious. Anyway, later in my life, I do want to lecture, right? And I always say, I don't want to lecture theory. I want to lecture practice. I want to be able to teach what you can do in a real life scenario, which is why I'm forever grateful for my university, because most of our lecturers were like lecturers from practice, or lecturers that are still in practice. So when they tell you something, they're not just giving you the scenarios for exams or whatever. They're telling you also how to handle it and deal with it in the real world, So another thing that I generally like about practice is the fact that you meet really amazing people. You meet people that become your friends. Some people stay your colleagues. You meet also really smart people, guys. If you think you're smart, like if you tell yourself, I'm a genie, I'm a genius, I'm the smartest girl in the room, wait until you go into practice. You're just like, wow, Like sometimes I look at people around me, I'm like, yo, you're so smart, you know. Or I look at people, like even my friends that are in practice, I'm like, when did you become smarter? Like, when did you become this smart, you know? Because I know all my friends are smart, right? But you look at people like, you've become wiser. When did you become this knowledgeable? So I think I really wish every single person gets an opportunity to be able to practice in whatever field or respect of studies that they've done, whatever the case may be, because it gives you a different perspective. It gives you a different way of seeing life. And also, I love the fact that you deal with many people. Like, I really like clients, guys. Like, you know, clients are really my favorite part of the day. Like, clients will make you know that you're a patient human being. Clients will make you know that you are friendly, even if you thought you're not friendly, because clients will come there at their worst and they expect you to comfort them. They want to leave your office feeling better, and that just becomes as part of your job. And sometimes you find the most hilarious clients. You find clients that are just funny. You find clients that are also very knowledgeable. You know, those clients that studied law or studied whatever, maybe they studied accounting or whatever that you're practicing, then you're doing stuff for them. Then they're like, no, this is not how it's done. Then it teaches you how to be patient. It teaches you how to have a correctable spirit, but also become, for a lack of a better word, become authoritative or become confident in your work, because you're able to say, okay, I do understand that you know it to be blue, but we are doing it yellow because yellow is going to work better, you know, without offending your client. So yeah, practice is such a great opportunity. And I always say, you know, even people that want to start up their own businesses, I've noticed something. I can actually I can pull up a track record, right? From the people that I look up to, people that I just generally like. I'll make, for example, like for instance, Mpumi. Like Mpumi is like one person who influences me beyond, you know. She was in practice, like not in practice for a very long time, but she started working in her third year. She was working for a bank. She was in corporate. I feel like also her character was built there. She was doing accounting, and now she's running a successful business. You know, Wisdom and Wellness has become actually just more than a business, and her other podcasts and her other things that she does, but she's become such a great entrepreneur and a great speaker. And I guess even the speaking part came, or how to deal with clients, came from her being able to work at that big financial institution and dealing with different kinds of people. You look at the likes of Amanda Dambuza. Amanda Dambuza has been in corporate, you know, before she started her own thing. She was in corporate for like, I think 5 years, and she hopped in different companies, and she always says hop as much as you can. Look at her. She runs one of the best companies. She empowers women. She funds women businesses. She is like a best-selling author. Like, you know what, guys? Like, it's happening. And she's an international speaker, you know. And then you've got the likes of Yols. Yols also was in corporate. She ditched corporate. A lot of people think she ditched corporate just for content creation, but also she's got a brand, Yols Beauty. She did that, successful. She has other things she does on the side, consulting, and all of these things, like, beautiful. So I feel like a lot of the people that I know that actually gave a shot at corporate, I'm not saying everyone must go to corporate first, but I think there's something that corporate or practical workplace or working for somebody does to you. Also, I think it teaches you to be humble. It teaches you to be respectful. It teaches you become a better individual. I always say, whenever I decide to start up my own businesses, I think I'm likely to be one of the best business women the world has ever seen or received. And I don't say this because of arrogance. I say this because of the things that I've been exposed to while serving under other people, you know, while learning from other people. So I think, yeah, you know, yeah, it's good. Some people tell you, I've always been an entrepreneur from grade 12. I started off my business and all of that. But I can guarantee you guys, I could put my salary on this. You can take a person, and not to undermine it or anything, like, you can take a person that has been trained by somebody else, or a person that has learned through working for somebody else, and a person who just started on their own. You would see that a person who has been trained by somebody, or a person who has worked for somebody else, who has been exposed to many people, they are likely to be striving more because they have certain skills or qualities that this other person who started from ground on her own, no training, no serving anyone, you may find that they have certain skills they lack. I'll make for an example, a person who has worked for the worst company, or a person that has been abused in the workplace, or people that have actually, let's talk about people that have been abused in the corporate space. They'll tell you they're one of the best bosses in the world because they know what it means to be treated in an ugly way. Also, they're able to draw the line between meeting work deadlines, between paying people well and underpaying them, between working under pressure and actually abusing people. They have a certain, I don't know how to put it, but I think it's beneficial. It's beneficial that every person, like even if you're going to start your own business, even if you don't plan on working for somebody for a long time, I think it's very beneficial that you actually go into practice of whatever field that you've done. Even if you don't want to do it for the rest of your life, it's fine. But I think just give practice a shot, and tell me how it goes, because it's really an amazing place to be. You really make lifetime connections, you make life-changing connections, and obviously being in practice does pay, especially if you work for the companies there in Sandton, there by Sandton, Upper Houghton, the Parktowns, the Rosebanks. Yeah, if you work for companies there, you usually get paid well, but also you need to have a time frame, guys. I think I've been saying this. Maybe God is also speaking to me as well. I'm busy saying I'm speaking to you guys. But you really need to have a time frame. If you don't want to, like for instance, I'm saying it's beneficial for everybody to go into the corporate space or go into the training space, or rather into the practical space of whatever they studied. Whether it's in being an environmentalist, being on the ground, being an engineer, but get the experience before you just decide to do business, because it teaches you certain characteristics that some things you need to learn on the job. That's the thing. I feel like some things you need to learn by experience. T.D. Jakes says experience is the best teacher there's ever been. It's one thing when you read me a book or when I read a business book, and it's another when I actually go through. It's another when I say I'm patient, but it's another when I'm actually tested. When I'm actually at work and I have somebody nagging me and I have to be patient with them and all of that. That's a different check. You are able to, like when you say you're a patient person, you work well under pressure, you're able to attach justification to every quality you have, as opposed to a person that just says, okay, I'm starting my own thing. Then you just wake up and you're like, what, now I'm good with people. I'm a team player. You're a team player how? When you haven't worked with other people? Have you seen yourself answering to somebody? Have you seen yourself serving somebody instead of being served? All of those kind of things. So yeah, put yourself out there, go into practice and see how it works out for you, and see where it lands you. Yeah, because also at the end of the day, right, like I was saying, time frame, time yourself. Tell yourself, hey, I'm gonna go into the corporate space for at least 5 years. I'm gonna bag every cent I can if it's about the money, or I'm gonna bag every experience that I can if it's about the experience, or I'm gonna bag both if it's about both, or I'm gonna bag every connection that I need. But go there, go into an area of practice of whatever you studied for, guys. There's beauty in it. I absolutely love it. I don't know what other people have to say about studying university and practice, in their area of studies. I know some people say, okay, yeah, let me ask environmentalists, right? I don't know if anyone is gonna watch. I hope Nondo watches this, because I know she studied like environmental something, and she recently started working into what she actually studied for. I want to know, when you get to practice, is it really the same, or would you prefer practice over actually being in school? Because I feel like being in school is just like theory. Guys, also another thing what you can do for yourself, if you're going to do a 4-year degree, that's a very long time in school. So you do a theory, you look for jobs in companies, whether you can work there on weekends, you can work there on vacation work. There is vacation work in different companies, whether it's an internship that you can go there every after school, because sometimes you get modules, like university schedule is also fun and flexible. So you get times whereby you only have one module in the morning, then you have the rest of the day free. Don't think you are too free. So because I feel like whatever you can do or fix or get right, do it in your 20s. so that in your 30s you don't spend so much time fixing the mistakes that you made or fixing the things that you could have done in your 20s. So I'm not saying put yourself under pressure, but what I'm saying is if you can do something in your 20s, do it well and do it properly and keep it moving. Because I remember, I don't know who I was watching, but I remember I was watching somebody who said, I don't know, maybe it was Mpumi or something, I don't know, but yeah, who said they didn't want to spend their 30s correcting mistakes of their 20s. You don't want to do that as well. So if you're done with school, or during school, if you're watching this, you're still in uni and all of these things, take your time, get the experience, so that even when you get to the workplace, you are not completely clueless. Because another thing, guys, practice is nice when you understand what you're doing. Extra, I forgot to say that. But practice is so beautiful and so amazing when you understand what you're doing, or when your spirit is willing to learn what has to be done, or when you have an idea. Guys, there's nothing nice about working while confused. If you are confused, I'm not saying, like, at the end of the day, when we start, we all don't know anything. But if it's, because it's easier for you to grasp if you've had experience before, right? If you've seen something before. But if you are completely confused, guys, your job becomes so hard. You become so unhappy, because also the most uncomfortable thing in this world is not knowing. I don't know about you, but for me, the most uncomfortable thing for me is not knowing. So I realized that actually, you know what, maybe I should have started doing VAC work from first year. I wouldn't be completely confused when they're talking about ABCD. You know, like, yeah, sometimes experience teaches you to become familiar with certain things. You know, it's like, for instance, if you start doing internships in your first year, right? You do your internships in your first year. By the time you get to your fourth year, which is your final year, and the following year, then you start working. I promise you, yes, things will be new, but they're not as bad, because you sort of remember certain things that you might have done at VEC work, or that you might have done at an internship, or whatever the case may be, and you sort of are able to apply yourself. But if you are getting there and you, like, all you ever know is theory, guys, you're gonna have problems. I promise you, there's nothing as strange. I remember I had a student who actually spoke to me about something. So they were telling me they wanted to quit law. Then I think that's one of the things I love about myself. I will encourage you to run the course, especially if I think that you're capable. Like the Art of Completeness, like that's one of my biggest brands. Finish what you started. And then I top it up with the scripture that says, he who began the work will complete it. Because Jesus completed. Like, if you go to the Bible, Jesus would complete. So I always feel like quitting or not completing is not your portion. Whatever you do, always go back and finish up. So like I was saying, I had this student who was telling me they wanted to quit law, but they were doing so well, guys. They were doing so well, getting A's and stuff like that. Then I was like to them, but you're doing well. I'm seeing your scripts. I'm marking your scripts, right? And then they said to me, I feel like I don't know law. I'm like, why? Because you're getting the answers right. She's like, and then she was like, that's my problem, because I know the questions to the exams. I know what to say when questions are being asked, but I can't hold a legal conversation every time my friends are talking or having a conversation from a law perspective. I can't give in or input, and it's frustrating me because I feel like I don't know anything. And I was like, actually, now you're teaching me something. You know, theoretically knowing something doesn't mean you know it practically. Got that? Theoretically knowing something does not mean you know it practically. So it is always important that you couple your theory with experience. You know, and without even saying too much, I'd also want to advise that whenever you can, guys, don't pile degrees that are impractical, degrees that won't, like, don't pile academic degrees in your bag and just put them there. No. Be in a position where you're getting practical skills. Like, even if it's Microsoft stuff, it's Word, guys. Excel is not as simple. Get yourself those short courses for Microsoft, Excel, Word, IT, very practical soft skills, because we live in a world where people think, no, education is the key. I'll go and study anything. When you go and study anything, education can become a hindrance. You know why? You will spend 4 years or 5 years studying a very theoretical degree or studying a very academic degree, and maybe you don't go into honors, so it means you can't lecture that very same thing. And also, in as much as you decide to go for your honors and go and lecture it, but how many lecturing positions do we have entirely? So I think it's very, very, very important that whenever you choose to study for something, be well informed, be well, like know what you're studying, know what it can do for you, know where it will place you. Because we have a situation in the country, one of the reasons why unemployment rate is very high, very high. But another thing that contributes to that is that people are unemployable. People have degrees, but you have a degree that is not valuable to any company because it's just a knowledgeable degree. It's just a thing of, I have a degree, I know this, I went to school and finished it. So yes, education is the key to success, but it can hinder you if you're doing the wrong course, guys. I know, follow passion, but here's number one: passion does not give you experience at that point in time, right? It can give you experience in the future. Like maybe, okay, fine, you can, okay, it depends also what your passion is, right? But most of the time people have these passions that don't pay bills in real time. So if that's the case, you are capable. Every single human being is capable. Like I went to the Wisdom and Wellness event, and Amanda Dambuza and the rest of the speakers opened something up in my mind. Amanda said every single person has the same potential, and we're not going to argue about this. Every single person has the same potential, but what you do with the potential is entirely up to you. And every single person can be unlimited, but it is entirely up to you to decide what steps are you going to take, how far can you go, what are you going to do about it, right? So we all have potential to become great. Obviously not all of us are going to be rich, sadly, but we all have potential to become great. But how you become great is entirely up to you. How you discipline yourself, how you position yourself in the world. Also, it's important to position yourself. It's important to discern, when do I do this? How do I do it? With whom do I do it, right? Like I'm saying, you can tell yourself that maybe you're interested in an academic degree, but you can't start off with an academic degree. Start off with a practical degree, a degree that's going to get you a job, or a degree that's going to teach you a skill to be able to employ other people. Then you can go to an academic degree whereby you're just studying for fun, or you're just studying to know, or whatever the case may be, you know. So yeah, man, I think my experience in practice has been beautiful. I've been in practice for I've been working actually since I was technically 13, but proper working whereby I'm conscious of what I'm doing and all of that. I've been working since I was 16, and I turned 25 in a few months. So I've been working at least for the past 10 years, 9 years. So yeah, my experience has been that experience is the best teacher. Like literally, experience is the best teacher. You learn a lot by doing. You learn a lot by being part of it. You learn a lot by participating. You learn a lot by also discerning, knowing when to. You learn a lot also by saying no, by declining offers, and all of these things. And I think another beautiful thing practice has taught me, it will teach you also to know what you want and what you don't, what you can tolerate and what you don't tolerate, what you can sit there and listen to and what you will not do, you know. So yeah, it's just been a beautiful journey. But really, I really wish, guys, go to school, finish school, and come to practice, or employ other people, start companies, or whatever the case may be. I really wish there was a way we could just maybe go to school for 2 years, do practicals and what, and just jump into practice. I really wish there was a way to do that, because I think that 4 years, guys, it's all a character training, I promise you, because you get to practice, you're completely wowed. You're like, how come I don't know this? And I've got an A in the subject, you know. You find that you have an A in contract law, but when it's time to draft agreements, you can't. It's a struggle. It's a mission. You don't know the boilerplates. You don't know it's just something else. But yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think school is necessary? Do you think, actually no, it is necessary. Do you think what has been your experience? Is practice better compared to school? And do you think we need school to become the best versions of ourselves in practice? And also, how would you like the curriculums to be altered? Because I think the curriculums are too theoretical. honestly speaking, and before I round up, right, I think it's good to go to school. Like I said, it's more of a character test. Can you meet deadlines? Can you do this under pressure? Can you? It's all about a test of character, right? And it's good for us. But guys, our modules, our subjects are not practical. I remember when I was doing my dissertation on financial inclusion, and when I was reading articles and all of that, the financial illiteracy rate in this country is just ridiculous. Then I thought to myself, if there was a practical subject teaching me about finances in grade 7 or even in primary school, trust me, I wouldn't make the financial blunders I'm making right now in my 20s. And I thought myself also, if yes, some schools, they learn computers and all of these things, then I also thought to myself, if IT was a thing in primary school, high school, I would know that actually it's not supposed to be just done by males. I can learn IT. You know, I feel like our modules are too theoretical, man. I mean, at the end of the day, any person can grasp theory at their own time at home, but teach us things that make us employable or employers. Teach us things that make us better individuals. Teach us things that will help us transform the world into a better place. You know, teach us things that will help us actually make correct decisions. You know, even our own life decisions. I look at life orientation. Guys, I don't know if they ended up phasing it completely, but that module is an important module in title, life orientation. But I don't know what they were doing with it in terms of the content in it, because I think life orientation, that's where we can actually learn about relationships with other people. We can learn about boundaries. We can learn how to treat other people, like in a very practical sense. But a curriculum, yes, guys, in general, I think our curriculums are not structured for the workplace. I really hope that curriculums were structured for the workplace and for entrepreneurs, so that you don't get to learn being an entrepreneur after so many years. Like, teach us from a very young age. Teach me to save. Teach me the importance of saving. I remember, I'll tell you guys a fun quick story before I round up. I know I've been rounding up. I remember when I opened a bank account. I just went to open a bank account, I think when I was in grade 11, grade 10. And at the time I stayed with my mom. My mom and dad are separated, right? And my mom was like, why did you open this bank account? I'll report you to your dad. I'm like, when I think about it now, I'm like, ma'am. And I was so nervous. I'm like, did I do something wrong? You know, and obviously I do understand where she was coming from. She had concerns for it. I don't have that much money to be putting in a bank account and all of these things. But as we learn, we start, because now, like, my siblings are like, what? They're like 7 years old, but they have bank accounts. So I guess my mom has learned that it's important that a child has a bank account and all of that. It doesn't mean they have to have so much money and all of these things. So I think school should be made much more practical. I think it will really serve us some good mistakes or some good life blunders if school was made more practical. Because also, I'll be looking forward to go to school if I know that I'm going to learn something practical or something that actually teaches me to be a better individual and a better human being in society. But if I'm going to go to school every single day and be taught just theory, it becomes very problematic. It becomes really problematic because, I mean, like I said, anyone can get theory right, but practice, that's a different skill set. Yeah, so guys, I really enjoyed having this chat with you. Tell me what has been your experience, practice versus school. And as a student, if you're not yet in practice, tell me, like, what are your concerns? Like, you know, what do you think can be done? How can we better the system and all of those things? So yeah, I'll catch you guys in another video. Do not forget to be love and light, and don't forget to pray for one another, and don't forget to share with one another job posts, and don't forget to be praying for your fellow friends who are searching for jobs and all of that. From me to you, it's all love and light, and I will be praying for you. I'll be praying for you. I pray that as soon as you see this video, that this week you get the call that you've been waiting, you get that interview confidence you've been waiting for, you know, you get those news that you've been waiting for. I pray that God blesses you beyond what your eyes can tell, or beyond what your beyond what your mouth can tell, and beyond what your eyes can see. And have a beautiful week ahead of you guys. God bless you.